Hi, welcome to a Vergo expense management tutorial. Today we're going to be going over syncing credit cards, pulling in credit card transaction data into Vergo, adding job costing information, and then syncing everything over into our ERP. So logging in here into our dashboard, we get a clear overview of some analytics that are going on in our company. We can see transactions that are missing a receipt, transactions that have been pulled in that have no job costing data, receipts that might have been uploaded with no jobs, transactions that are missing GL accounts, any expenses that are waiting for our approval, and any expenses that have been approved but have not been reported over. Clicking any of these is going to filter based on this item here. So if I click one of these tiles, it's going to say, here are all your expenses that are missing a receipt. And if I clear that, in our expenses tab, we're going to see all the expenses that are coming in for our company. So this is going to happen in real time. As soon as you sync a credit card to Vergo, you're going to see a new transaction pop up here instantly, as soon as that transaction is made and that credit card is swiped. So it's very easy to connect your credit cards to enable that into Vergo. So if I go over to our navigation here and I go to the card section, I can add a new card very easily by clicking new card, choosing if it's an Amex, Visa, or MasterCard, clicking continue, adding my card data, and clicking connect. As soon as I do that, you're going to see the credit card pop up here, post. And as soon as I go and make a purchase, that purchase will immediately come into Vergo, and you'll also get a notification on your phone of the ability to add a receipt and to open that transaction up on your mobile device. So here, this orange icon and this phone, I'm just mirroring my phone to my computer here for demo purposes. And if I click the orange icon, I'm going to log into my account using Face ID, and I'm going to see all of my transactions that I've made for my credit card. In the to-do section, I'm only going to show transactions that I have not submitted for approval. So we can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transactions that I need to get over to my finance team and submit for approval. That means I most likely need to add a receipt and job costing information. So let's do that in real time. Let's open one of these transactions. We can see the icons on the left show that it either is missing a receipt or has a receipt. Green icon with a check means it has a receipt. You can also see the status of the transactions here. Any pending transactions, so that have not cleared with my bank, are here, as well as new transactions that have been authorized and settled with my bank and have cleared. Let's add a receipt for this Soundstripe expense for May 12th. I'm going to open it on my phone. It's going to show me this interface that shows the amount, the date, and the merchant. And it's also going to show this icon here for me to add a receipt. So clicking that is going to open up my camera. And I can also click this icon at the bottom right if I want to either choose a photo that's already on my phone or select a file from my phone. So I have a receipt here. I'm going to take a picture, save it. Now, a lot of my work has been done and the finance team loves that I've added a receipt to a transaction. And all I need to do is add job costing information and code that receipt to satisfy the finance team's needs. So we have the ability to choose expense profiles to show your employees and your teams the fields that you want to make mandatory, optional for coding a new expense. So I'm going to see concrete jobs. We'll just use this one as an example. These profiles are something that your backend office and team can create so they can show and hide fields and data for your team to start to job cost and code this expense. Also works for indirect costs as well. But right here, we can see that for this particular profile, I have a GL account that has an asterisk. That means that it's mandatory for me to add a GL account. It's also mandatory for me to add a job. We can also see that my team has set all concrete job profiles as a cost type material. They've set that code. So As soon as the receipt and the transaction have been coded, when I choose this profile, it's going to go to my finance team already pre-coded with material. So if I click GL account, I'm going to satisfy the need for that requirement and also job. Now it allows me to submit this expense for approval. So I'm going to click submit. Now we'll see that I went from having 6 transactions in my to-do list to only 5. So that Soundstripe transaction is gone. And if I go to the all section, I'm going to be able to see that it's here, its approval status, and that it has a receipt attached. I can always open it at any time to see the picture that I took, as well as any of the job costing information. So now that's what in real time it looks like for a user to code something in Vergo. As soon as they make a transaction, they upload and add a receipt. Let's take a look at what that would look like for my team in the back office. So they are going to get a notification that there's been a new transaction that has been submitted for approval. So now we see this number 1 here. It says there's 1 transaction waiting to be approved. Now I can see that all the job costing data that that person had added the moment the expense was made has been moved over here and has been coded. I can look at any other fields that I might want to add to this. I can add and remove and delete columns depending on my workflow. I can one-click approve this transaction if I need to. And I can open it to view not only the coding, but the receipt on the left-hand side. So I can see that this is the card holder who made it. I can see the card number. I can split this expense over multiple jobs if I need to. I can copy a link to this. I can even @mention someone if I want to in the activity section. By going in here and just putting in their name and saying, and add a note to them. So I just now sent them a notification that says, I need some more information for this. I can also kick this back to whoever submitted it by rejecting it. And I could say that the picture is too blurry. Please add. Now I just rejected this expense. It didn't satisfy the needs and the requirements. And we can see that it's in the rejected column now. It also will come over with the rejected reason for the user. So there's the rejected reason. And if I go back into my mobile app and I click on the rejected area, I'm going to see that my team has not accepted that expense and they've kicked it back to me. I'm also going to see the reason why they did not. So let's just say that I updated the photo and it's much, much better. I'm going to submit it back for approval. And my team's going to get it back. In their approval tab, they're going to open that expense and they're going to say, wow, the picture looks so much better. It is ready to be approved and sent on to our ERP. In this section, you can also add approvers. So I can add approvers based on role or specific users. You can also set up logic. So if a job is added, a project manager is automatically added to the approval chain. And you could set up some settings for your approval process by teams, by managers of teams, or by the project managers connected to your ERP for this expense. So I'm just going to approve it and show an end-to-end process of what that looks like. Now it's in the Approve tab. And I have 2 transactions here in the Approve tab. So I can sync them all with one click, or I can sync them one by one. I'll get this overview of me syncing the information and what has previously been coded. If for any reason there aren't the correct codes needed to push into my ERP, I'm going to get an error message that says you have to satisfy putting an invoice number and a vendor for this. So whatever your ERP requires for clean data to be posted into it, it's going to make sure that you have that data here in Vergo as well. You can download the CSV if needed. And once you sync it, it's going to move to the reported tab. So it will sync directly into your ERP, not only with the coding, but also with the image attached to it. So you always have a reference image in your accounting system. And then in the reported section, I'm going to see all of my team's transactions that have been reported. I can download zips files of any receipts I need or CSV files for any coding information that I might need. And there's a lot of other powerful tools in here in terms of managing your team, seeing all the receipts that have been uploaded, managing your cards, setting up rules and automations, setting up your notifications to get notifications via text, via in-app, or via email, and rules for things like when a merchant is Amazon, I could set up anytime a expense comes in with the merchant Amazon, it's going to auto set the GL account and the cost center. I can set up any rules for any merchant that you might make frequently to automate a lot of your team's processes. Can also set up robust approval workflows. So, for example, we said if there is a job that has a project manager, I want to require the approver to be the project manager for that job. So if a project manager exists, I want to require the project manager. Now, anytime I add a job to an expense, the project manager is going to be part of that approval process. If you like to take a closer look, please set up a demo with us at getvergo.com/demo, and we can walk you through how you can streamline your team's expenses and connect them to your ERP in just a couple clicks. Appreciate your time today, and we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.